How is everyone doing? Super excited and fired up to be here with each and every last one of you all tonight. And y'all already know how I like to start it off. Like, share, comment, and get this, subscribe. Go and subscribe to my YouTube channel for your daily inspiration, motivation. And like I say, I'm just here to serve, right? But tonight we are talking about something that I think that a lot of us need to hear. So we're going to be talking about the ego versus the soul. I'm gonna say it again. We're gonna be talking about the ego versus the soul. Now, let's just dive in and discuss really the difference between your ego and your pride versus your spirit and your soul. Now, I know most of us react off our ego and our pride versus our spiritual and our soundness because it's a defense mechanism. And I really want to show you how. So I'm just gonna be going down and then just breaking down a whole bunch of stuff. So if you got your pen and your pad, I highly suggest that you use it because the note takers are the move makers, right? So ego. The ego's only purpose is to serve itself. The ego's only purpose is to serve itself. Now, the soul is very selfless. Now, the ego's focus is of a lack and emptiness. Now, on the other hand, the soul focus is abundance and fulfillment. Now, if y'all feeling this, I definitely want y'all to actually tune into this, right? So the ego is arrogant and self-absorbing while the soul is humble and self-assured. I'm gonna say that again. The ego is arrogant and self-absorbing while the soul is humble and self-assured. Now, I don't know, I might be stepping on a lot of toes with it, but this next one is real deal gonna hit a lot more different because the ego always looks for blame. If you're actually out here blaming others, you're not blaming them just to be blaming them, you're blaming them with your ego. So now, one thing that I do know on the flip side of it, the soul also, its soul is actually looking for some type of understanding and a misunderstanding that's heard or seen. So I'm gonna say it, the ego, it looks for blame, but the soul looks for understanding. And this one right here, it real deal stuck me when I did see it. So fear comes from the ego. It can't come from faith. I mean, it can't come from the soul because the soul only produces faith. So ego is producing fear while the soul is producing faith. I think I just dropped the gem right there. If you caught it, write it down. If you caught it, write it down. Now, the ego is selfish and self-centered and always, get this, always desperate for approval. The ego is always desperate for approval. It doesn't just cause us to be arrogant. It can make you feel inferior and cause you to compare yourself to others. Now, I know that is a big illness between everybody right now, especially with social media. You get to looking at social media and now you fall into the category of actually comparing yourself to others. And I know one thing that we all do, we all hold grudges. We all hold grudges. And always needing to actually have that last word in an argument. Talking about yourself nonstop, not letting others actually get a word in are all signals and signs that the ego is at work. Now, your soul is the realest part of you. Your soul is the realest part of you. And get this, the ego is the mask that you actually present to the world and use it as a shield for yourself. Now, when you do name drop to impress others, or you interrupt someone just to prove how knowledgeable you are, the ego is at work. The ego is at work. Now, your ego is really only interpreted from its selfish point of view. Because like I just told you previously, right? The ego purpose is to serve itself, but the soul is selfless, right? So focusing on your wants, your emotions, your pride, and your image. Trust me, there is no unity or connection to the universe, God, and those around you. Now, the ego prevents you. Now, get this, the ego prevents you from connecting to this light. Because you got so much boggled up into yourself, instead of showing humility, it blocked you from your light. Now, your soul, I know for a fact, is the purest part of you. Your soul is the purest part of you. So now we know how ego manifests in our day-to-day lives. Now the question is, get a drum roll, please. The question is, how do you silence your ego? How do you silence your ego? Now, I know when something offends you, please do this. When something do offend you, don't react immediately. I know it might be hard, but I'm telling you, don't react immediately. Just take a step back and assess the situation. Take a step back and assess the situation, and try to take things as they are, and realize that everything doesn't require a reaction. Not most things, but everything does not require a reaction. So stop expecting things to go a certain way. If you expect people to treat you a certain way, giving you all of their time, for example, your ego will be hurt when your expectations aren't met. Because you're expecting something to go a certain way, guess what? Your ego will get hurt because you expecting things to go a certain way. And when I say a certain way, the way that you want it. Notice the one thing about life, people. Life does not always go the way that you want it. And if you get mad about the things when it don't go your way, that's ego in full effect. That is ego in full effect. Because if you don't get mad and you look at it from a different perspective, now your soul is stepping in to try to seek some understanding, like I just told you about misunderstanding, right? So, like I said, stop letting your ego play a big part in how you come off on a day-to-day basis, or how you think on a day-to-day basis, or how you act on a day-to-day basis, right? So I want everybody to actually look for the lesson and think about it. There is an opportunity to grow in every situation that you go in life. There is always an opportunity for you to grow in every situation that you actually go through in life. Now, if you are responding with your ego, get this. If you are responding with your ego, there is a lesson to be learned. If you are responding with your ego, there is a lesson to be learned. Because you have to move yourself from being reactive to proactive. And I heard Steve Harvey said this, if you put pro in front of anything, that means it's positive. If you put pro in front of anything, that means it's positive. So now you got to move yourself from being reactive, which is negative, 9 times out of 10, which is negative, to being proactive, which is positive. That's looking at it from a whole different perspective. Now, your first reaction to the situation usually comes from your ego. I'm guilty. I did it before, but I'm getting better. Your first reaction to any situation usually comes from your ego. Now, if you stop and pause and listen to your soul and look at the bigger picture, now you have the ability and the power to respond proactively. So now you got to ask yourself, am I acting with humility or am I acting with pride? And I hope everybody actually enjoyed this video so it can give you a distinguishing balance between your ego and your soul. And now you can have a more open eye on which one you are actually acting with. So do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and be looking out for my Mindset Monday video. If you don't follow me on IG or Facebook, take the time to do that right now. Follow me on IG_whoisDT and DT Stare Chill on Facebook. And like I said, always remember to love, serve, and grow. And matter of fact, share this video with somebody, because you have to be able to give value. Once you give value and they see value, now we're multiplying value into the world. So, like I said, always remember to love, serve, and grow. And let's get out there and let's kick this week off right and be more conscious about which direction are you stepping into. Are you stepping into your ego, or are you stepping into your soul? Are you stepping into your soul, or are you stepping into your ego? All right, y'all have a good one.